Gerard Khalil, aka the Completionist, has recently been connected to allegations against his charity, the Open Hand Foundation, which were brought to light by Carl Jobst and some ordinary gamers. The Open Hand Foundation was established with the goal of raising donations for dementia research and supporting those affected by the disease. One important event in the Open Hand Foundation's fundraising efforts is the annual Indieland charity event. This event celebrates gaming while also raising funds for dementia research and support. It brings together gamers and gaming enthusiasts to contribute to a noble cause. The allegations of financial misconduct against the Open Hand Foundation have been investigated by YouTubers Carl Jobst and some ordinary gamers. These allegations primarily focus on the mismanagement of funds and inconsistencies in tax filings.
Then they somehow spend $11,000 but still contribute $0 at all. So again, this starts them with $549 and ends them with a whopping $655,000 in the bank. But the point is, this is still money that's sitting in their account. Now, me and Carl actually started a conversation with Gerard to get his side of the story, and he confirms that the money is still sitting in the account.
The important thing is that all the money is still in the account. None of it's spent erroneously. It's all above board. Like it's not hiding in a Cayman account or anything like that.
Carl Jobst's detailed video expose raised concerns about the organization's utilization of funds.
Dementia research and treatment for organizations all over the world.
However, the truth is that since its inception in 2014, the Open Hand Foundation has not contributed a single cent to any organization. For the past 10 years, they have raised over $600,000, and it's all just sitting in their bank account. Despite Open Hand saying the money goes to help fund research, and despite the fact that everyone believes their money is going to a worthwhile cause, this is simply not the case. Because Open Hand is a non-profit, their tax filings are publicly available. In 10 years of filings, they have not disbursed a single dollar to anyone. They have kept everything for themselves.
After a period of controversy and allegations surrounding the Open Hand Foundation, there was eventually a donation of funds to the Association for Frontotemporal Degeneration. The association received a $600,000 donation from the Open Hand Foundation. This development came as a surprise to many, as there had been concerns about the mismanagement of funds and delays in donation. The public and community reactions to this donation have been mixed. Some individuals expressed relief and satisfaction that the funds were finally allocated to the intended cause. They saw it as a positive outcome and credited the community's pressure for pushing the Open Hand Foundation to make the donation. However, others remained skeptical and demanded further answers and accountability from the organization. They questioned why other charities that were claimed to be supported over the years did not receive any of the funds. Then finally, in response to Carl and some ordinary gamers, Gerard released his own video that some ordinary gamers then responded to point by point.
During several recent Indieland events, press interviews, and podcasts, I went on record saying where the money was going to and that the Open Hand Foundation had worked with various organizations. At different points, the foundation had been in communication with or considered several of them, but it was not appropriate for me to make such statements when final actions had not yet been taken. The Open Hand Foundation's goal was to make a large impact by donating the money to the right place. And a lot of the conversations that were had with various organizations involved the funds not being restricted or came with extremely high administrative costs. Look, any way you say this, action needed to be taken. And to that point, I'm sorry. I'm disappointed that I was not more straightforward regarding the foundation's timeline for making donations, and that I made statements potentially implying donations were made when they had not yet been. It took too long for clear action to occur, and I apologize for all of this. But such inaction was not done for any selfish or malicious reasons.
Let's look at the actual statements once again, the statements that he never showed in his original video, and just see how potentially misleading those statements are.
Brother and I started a foundation called the Open Hand Foundation that raises money for dementia research and treatment for organizations all over the world. We're soon going to be partnering up with the Alzheimer's Association, currently working with the University of San Francisco, and we're kind of one of their main funding support partners going into all of this.
And then I made statements potentially implying donations were made when they had not yet been.
All bits, all donations, all super chats, all YouTube memberships, basically anything that's tied to donating or subscribing in a financial way to us is going to charity. We're not touching any of it. It's all going for a good cause.
And then I made statements potentially implying donations were made when they had not yet been.
All the money goes to the Open Hand Foundation, an organization that we started in honor of my mom, and all that money goes to dementia research. We don't touch any of it. We just work with the people who do need the money, and we help them do their thing.
And then I made statements potentially implying donations were made when they had not yet been.
We are raising money for dementia research in honor of my late mom, trying to help folks who've been impacted by dementia, working with organizations like USF, FTD Association of America, Alzheimer's Association of America, and so many more.
And then I made statements potentially implying donations were made when they had not yet been.
I run my own charity called the Open Hand Foundation, and all the money that we aggregate, I started it when I was a young boy with my dad in honor of my mom who had dementia, and so we just every year we try and raise as much money as possible, and then we go work with Alzheimer's Association of America, University of San Francisco, Association for FTD, which is what my mom had, FTD. So we've worked with big and small organizations across the board, and he was like, it'd be really cool if we did a show all about raising money for people who are making huge headways in dementia research and prevention and all that stuff. And I said, yeah, I'd love to.
And then I made statements potentially implying donations were made when they had not yet been.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that people were potentially misled after statements as charged as that. Again, looking at the definition of charity fraud, fraudulent activity can occur when people make dishonest or inflated claims about how much money they've raised or how much it's helped the cause. And one of the common ways is pretending to be a charity or falsely claiming to be affiliated with a legitimate charity in order to solicit donations.
And then I made statements potentially implying donations were made when they had not yet been.
We actually saw names that were being named. I'm surprised why Gerard didn't at least address this point. It was the most common, it was the heart of the argument, which just seems like it was deflected. And sure, he can say that I apologize to people who felt that they were misled. No, I don't think you can say that these are potentially misleading.
Even though there was a ton of controversy, at least now we can be sure that the money was finally donated. Dementia research is receiving the support it was promised, and that's what matters.